So the first question we had was, what do I need in order to be admitted to study at a Canadian university? Now that's a great question, and generally speaking, it's up to the school you're applying to, and it's up to the program that you're going for. Every school has a different process, and what you'll do is on our site as well as the school's website, you'll be able to find detailed information about what you need to submit. Usually they require things like your grades or any additional documents or essays, and in some cases, which we'll cover later, they might ask for English language requirements. The next question we had is, do I need to return to my home country after graduation? Now that's a great question. I think the choice is up to you. When we cover the visa section, we'll definitely go over the visa opportunities there are. I know that there are opportunities for recent graduates to apply for a work visa immediately after they've graduated if you wish to stay here in Canada. I know for me personally, I studied in the UK, and it was always my intention to come back to Canada to work. So I chose to study there and then return here. So I guess it's entirely up to you. The next question we have is, how long is a co-op? So I'm going to get Ian to answer this question, as he did a co-op at Waterloo.
Great. So a co-op typically adds on another year to your study. So if you're in a 2-year program in a college and in a co-op program, often it will be about 4 to 8 months sort of split between your work and study term. For me, it added an extra year, but also sort of included 2 years of work experience. So it was on and off. For more information about co-op, you should definitely look into the schools and the programs to see if they even offer co-op. If they do have co-op opportunities, they should have a career service center of some sort to field those questions directly to them.
Perfect. And then the next question we have is, when do you start your search for a school? So I'm going to pass this over to Karen.
Okay. Well, we do recommend that you start your search as early as possible. Since I don't know what sort of background you have in terms of if you are a high school or a student, or if you're currently in a university program, because in some cases some students do wish to switch out or switch schools or programs, we do recommend that you start as early as possible. Usually, well, in Canada anyway, we do recommend students to look at, in around grade 10 or 11 to consider what sort of schools they would like to study at, or what programs they would like to make into their careers, and then not until grade 12 in their final year of study do they apply for university or college or career college.
Typically for Canadian schools, application deadlines vary from about February to March for Canadian schools. It may be different for international students depending on their recruitment cycles. So the best resource for that would be Study in Canada, which will show you up-to-date information on when application statuses are. After that, then there's other procedures like getting your visas and whatnot. So it is a long process. So the faster or the earlier you get to learning these processes, the better you'll be able to cover those necessities, I guess.
Another question we had, actually a couple of people have asked, how do I convert the grades from my home country into the Canadian equivalent? So generally speaking, for international students, they may outline what the prerequisite grade is based on the course that you're doing. I do know, like, for programs such as IGCSEs, O-levels, or the IB, students are very familiar with them. So they will let you know what the equivalent mark is. If you're unsure, the best thing to do is to contact the admissions office or whoever you submitted your application to and ask them for clarification. Schools are more than willing to help and answer any questions that you might have, especially when it comes to grades. And it's important also for you to know what grades you need. I know a lot of people have already begun their education in their home country and they'd like to transfer. So it's important also to check, what can I transfer over, how much credit am I receiving for some education I've already done. So I think we're actually going to wrap up this Q&A session. Not to worry, we will answer your questions later on in the presentation. And as I said, with certain sections, a lot of your questions will be answered in those sections.
Okay, so I'm going to close off the poll right now and share some of the results. It looks like about half of you are saying that scholarship would be the most important factor in choosing your school, and there's a bit of a tie between cost and the program. Not very unique. Even students within Canada, often scholarships and the types of programs that are available do influence their decisions when they do choose a school to study in. Okay, so now I'm going to pass the presentation on to Faiza, who will be talking about scholarship opportunities.